Chapter 11: Maintenance of Equipment Personnel. Maintenance of equipment is essential for the safety and efficiency of operation of the DA railways. The following information covers the aspects of maintenance within the regard of safety: welding, cutting, cranes, hoisting, directs, and ladders and scaffolds. Safety: clothing and shoes. Personnel must wear suitable clothing and shoes and safely perform their duties. Safely, shoes will be worn where conditions present hazard to the feet, whether the thin sole shoes are loose, tornly, oil, grease, and baggy. Clothing is prohibited. Tools and machines. All tools and machines are mostly keep in safe and suitable condition. Personnel are prohibited from using the appliances, machine, or tool until properly instructed to the appropriate care. The proper tool must be used and for each job, such as a wrench, or if it's properly chiseled, the mushroom heads must be not used. Rapid repair tracks. When working in a performance shop area, repair track switches or the rails on to such tracks will be kept locked. Working on such tracks notified before the switching and movement of the car's locomotive is performed. Personnel is forbidden to go under the between locomotives other than the assigned repair tracks. Other than the personnel being blue signal is positioned in both ends of the necessary. If no blue signals are available for the protection is provided. Stepping on the jumping over dropping fueling inspection pits is prohibited. Shop precautions. Personnel must use steps to enter leave permits. When provided when leaving manholes avoided. Personnel when leaving manhole valve openings without positioning, placing suitable guards and prohibited covers must be properly seated with a replacement. Using hands, brush clips, drills, latches, other moving tools, machines, and prohibited. Leaving tools, materials, rubbish, aisles, passageways prohibited. Where cutting off bolts, prohibiting shipping, so forth. Shields be placed in position to prevent injury. To injury to personal flying parts. Hand tools. The hand tools personnel must comply with the following rules. Do not use files as pry bars. Files with handles do not use strike files with hammers. Do not leave tools materials on elevation with a mighty fall of to be jarred off the hazardous person working in the passing area. Do not leave tools materials standing on the end of the leaning against the wall, other objects where they might be struck with a swing sledge. Do not stand personnel on using this. Do not stand beside a personnel using a sledge. Do not stand in front of within the swing of the hammers, sledges, adzes, bars, or other similar tools and implements. Use protective goggles when chipping metal. You wear goggles in condition of protect against splinters, sharp, jagged edges. Handling of the ties, lumbers, rough freight or materials. Remove all nails, staples, wires, so forth. Providing protruding from kegs, packaging policies, containers immediately after they have been opened. Operating working machine appliances without safely guarding the proper position is prohibited. Repairing, cleaning, oil, adjusting machinery while running is prohibited. Personnel are all subject being constructing, caught, and moving parts. Properly machinery stopped and its controls must be properly tagged, otherwise protected before the performance in such work. Warn another personnel see that they are clear before the starting motors or other machinery. Avoid reaching between, going between, stopping, or going between, touching, moving belt cables, shifting of the hand, or personnel operating work plans. Woodworking machines must not. Woodworking machines must not pass between ripsaw guide of ripping small material. Other joiner blades with dressing material is less than 1 inch thick and 4 inches wide. Remove loose and scrap material of the power saw table immediately after cutting personnel materials. The drill press is properly fastened. The means of vice, clamp, and chuck to prevent the turning hand tongues of wrenches over tools must not be used to hold such materials. Remove chips, cutting scales from machine tables, moving tables, brushes, or other devices. All set screws involving spindles and shafts must be flush and countersunk. Do not operate grinding wheels at speeds of excess with those recommended by manufacturer. All grinding wheels must be type sizes approved by machinery. While they are to be used, it must be applied according to the manufacturer instruction. Grinders and set either brace of wheels designed for the purpose of prohibited. Tool rest must not be adjusted, or tool rest should not be more than 1/8 of an inch from the wheel. Never to attempt to adjust the tool rest while the wheel is in motion. Keep the grinding wheels clean and true from being dressed, and wheel vibrates and dressing stop in the machine clean. Check for the defects. Apply the work gradually for the cold grinding wheel in order for it to warm up. Always use a work smooth. Avoid forcing the work of extent glazing to breakage may occur. The use of operated grinding tools, which are equipped The speed governor in working orders repairs. The adjustment for the speed governor must be made to authorized personnel. Place in short. Materials are power hammer, anvil, die with tongs instead of hands. When power hammers are not in use, the striker must be left with resting on an anvil. Power must not be shot. Do not point pneumatic or pointer actuated tools tools at a person before connecting and disconnecting. And put pneumatic tool, close the valves and supply lines, relieve all pressures from the hose, lay down the pneumatic, electrical, or other tool material is running. It is prohibited to place such tools when not ascended accidentally. Place such tools where will not be accidentally started. When reaming and drilling, tool operated portable pneumatic motor must be fouled in the fouling must be in the foul and the whole extent for that is necessary to strike the tool where the objective is that it is free must be removed the tool from before it is struck. Personnel working for the opposite side for the rail power track wrench must not be themselves in the direct line. Being tightening electrical tools, both portable and stationary, must be equipped with a ground wire before using unless equipment is insulated. Welding and cutting. The following conditions apply to all personnel engaged in welding and cutting. On one qualified personnel will be permitted to perform the welding and cutting operations. Personnel performing welding and cutting must be use prescribed wire protection. Must wear clothing, shoes that will give protection against sparks and molten metal. Air screens, air protection must be used in welding and cutting. Overhead suitable screen devices must be used to protect the eyes of personnel working in the vicinity of operations and inspecting the cutting and working equipment carefully between being each job. Be sure all parts of the equipment in good condition, that there are no leaking gas in welding equipment. All welding equipment is properly insulated. Welding material must be kept in orderly condition. Flammable material or debris must be removed from the vicinity. Welding cutting is beginning. Fire extinguishers should be readily available at all times during the welding cutting operations. Be sure to all oxygen flammable equipment connections are clean. Never allow oil or grease to come in contact with the oxygen in any way. Before connecting oxygen flammable gas regulators, cylinder or station valves must be open slightly to the assistant. Remove any of the dirt. Always use approved wrenches. Provide a correct connecting, disconnecting regulator hoses, torches, pressure, or adjusting secure oxygen flammable gases, regulators, and release port positions before opening cylinder valves. Always stand at one side of the way from the front of the regulator cause a gauge faces when opening a cylinder valve. Do not open a cylinder valve more than one and one half turn. So always approve always one and one half turns. Always use approved wrenches. Leave it in place of cylinder valve while in use. Only open cylinder valve slowly while the cylinder's pressure builds up to the regulator gauge, and the open valve pressures oscillating in the hose pipeline is not to exceed 15 pounds per square inch. Always close the cylinder valve. Release the pressure adjusting screws when moving equipment in from one place to another. Do not tamper with the attempt of the repair cylinder valves, regulators, torches. If they do not work properly, turn them into the repairs replacement. Do not tighten a regulator cylinder connection without first closing the cylinder valve. Never place tools, clothes, and material on top of the cylinder regulators. Never use purpose of finding leaks. Leaks should be located applying soap and water. Leak in cast cylinder may be placed in an open air and the valve open in all air. Open lights kept away from the gas have been escaped until all open lights kept away until the gas have escaped from the cylinder. The valve must be closed. In case of fire around gas, welding, cutting, and equipment, immediately close the cylinder station valve. In case of flashback and first close of oxygen valve at once. Delay is dangerous. The close flammable gas is necessary. A spark lighter is be used in flight. Torches, matches, and are open to the prohibited. Always use the torch valves and close before the torches is laid down for any purpose. Placed torch will not be damaged. Connected in dirt, grease for the valve accidentally strike open. Do not leave the torch in such position that the gas is escaped in confined spaces. All maintain proper gas. Make sure adjustments. Do not attempt the torches to become overheated when repairs are made to the oxygen flammable gases. Pipeline and supply valve must be closed and protective tag is attached to the valve. The work is furnished in the egg must be removed only in the same workman and craft that is applied. Only oil-based pipe joints composed must not be used on a gas line connection before burning through sheets, plate, other material. Personnel must be ensure that no person in a position to be burned and stucker on the falling material. Do not use oxygen substitute and compressed air as a source of pressure before leaving equipment unattended. For when the work is finished, close the oxygen flammable cylinder station valve tightly open torch valves and relieve pressure in hoses and release pressure to adjusting screws or regulators where uses. If the hoses are removed from the station, they apply the caps to the station connection. All composed gas cylinders must be stored into the ventilated 20 feet away from the highly combustible materials, including grease, oil, and stoves. Other sources of heat. Oxygen cylinders must be separated in flammable cylinders by 20 feet of non-combustible portions at least 5 feet high. The portion must have a fire-resistant rating at least a half hour. Facilitating LP gases, liquid oxygen cylinders should be stored and transported only and used only in a vertical position. Keep open lights, fires away from all cylinders at all times. All compressed cylinders, either loaded or empty, must be handled carefully. Do not drop, permit, strike other cylinders subject to any other greater shock or concussion. All cylinders must be secured to prevent them falling or being knocked over. Valve protection caps must be kept in place and tight all times with the cylinder are not in active use. Always protect the hose from being run from the trample to avoid tangle and kinks. Prevent ventilation of flammable gas hoses. Remove equipment stored to protect against the fire explosion. Never attempt to confine the space while lighted torches. Attempts to light the torch strike in any area where the doors where odors or exhalate other gas vapors are detected. To have hoses sufficient length must be prevented taking flammable gas cylinders into the confined spaces before entering a closed to do any flammable gas welding cutting. Make sure there are no leaks in any part of the equipment. Do not operate the torch and hose thrown in the shoulder. Keep the hose away from the body as possible. Tank and drums are also containers with hollow or core casting must be adequately vented from best being heated. In tanker container has been previously used in flammable poisonous material. It must be thoroughly drained, washed, and steamed out before cutting, welding, brazing, or soldering. Applying to in any way arranging from the good ventilation with the welding, cutting, brazing, bronze, galvanized iron, painted and used in cadmium base silver to solder is prohibited. A welder leaving electrical welding equipment unattended for the electrical holder leads must be properly placed to prevent the short circuits or electrical burns. When welder properly supply must be off position before starting applicable. Starting electrical grounding weld must be firmly secured and clone as possible and material is welded. Do not connect grounds wire to water, steam, air, gas, and other pipelines in an electrical continuity purpose except for the performing specifically welding of such equipment. Welding on locomotives, cars, and machinery grounded must be attached to the frame of the body to avoid passing current through the bearings or the gears. Welding on the tracks or structures of providing required protection on welders' equipment is prohibited. Molten melted used in foundry of the rail welding operations will be explode upon contact with the cold, damp, or wet materials. Therefore, molds and skimming tools will be used to warm and dry before being used. Do not pour molten metal on the ground. Leggings approved of goggles, gloves, sleeves, and adequate foot protection must be worn when welding, otherwise holding molten metal. Crane and hoist and derricks. To use a crane's hoist or derricks in one of the major labor-saving device department, it cannot be one of the most dangerous but not used properly. Rules observed to avoid the injury. Personnel use of such machinery before using crane or hoist direct similar equipment. Operator must be known of equipment including the pulleys and tables, drum in safety condition, and all safety guards in place. Brakes and limits to switches must be tested periodically to ensure that they are properly conditioned, operating properly. Their hand signals, verbal instruction, operation hoisting equipment must be given only to the designated person. And operating hoisting equipment must must not act upon signal instructions except for stop signals unless they are given the designated two directs and lifting the same load. One person designated into the direct movement of the both. The hoisting equipment operator must move the equipment and clearly understand the signal instructions. When the hand signals are being used, the person given the signal must be remain in sight of the operator at all times. The hand signals are given in accordance with the standard quote are shown in the figure. Stop and an emergency stop arm. Extended palm down, holding position regularly. Emergency stop. Extend palm down and move hand rapidly to the left, rapidly right and left. A race boom is an extend of the fingers, closed thumb pointing up. Lower the base boom, extend the fingers, closed thumb pointing down. I'll use the main hoist, tap the fist of the head, and then use the regular signals. Swing, extend the point of the finger in the direction in which the swing of the boom. Hoist, the form of hoist. With the form vertical form finger pointing up, move the hand in a small horizontal circle. Lower when extending the down finger pointed to move a hand in a smaller circle. This is figure 6 is the standard crane and derrick hand signal. Continued. Raise the boom and lower the boom with the handle with the arm extended thumb point. Flex the fingers out and load as the boom load out as long as the load of the movement is desired. Lower the boom and raise the load within the extended thumb point of being flesh fingered in and out. Move the load down. Move in and out as long as the load is moved and is desired. Travel one track. We'll look at one track at the site indicated. Raised foot track. Travel the opposite track in the direction of the indicated circle motion of the other listed rotated vertically in front of the body. Travel both tracks in both front. Make circular motions of each indication direction of the travel forward and backward of the body. Travel arm extended forward. Handle openly. Swing slightly raised, pushing the motion directly in the travel. Move slowly. Use the hand in given motion signal space. Move slowly. Use hand in the motion signal place of other hand. Place in the other hand motionless in front of the hand given the motion signal. Hoist slowly. Shown example. Use the whip line auxiliary hoist. Tap the elbow with one hand, then use the regular signals. Do dog everything. Claps hands in front of the body. Place the block and look directly on the load. Possible to prevent the load dragging, swinging, lifting, material handling gets in control. Employees must not attempt to catch or rebalance until the swing material is caught into a rest. Supervisors of the person designated for by him or the must see the crane capacity is not exceeded. The ramp clamps, outriggers are properly used and provided. He must ensure the hooks, chains, cables, ropes, slings, so forth used in the hoisting purposes proper size, condition to safely handle the capacity of the crane hoist is derricks and posted in operating cable or other location readable visible operator. Do not attach the hook of the crane hoist block it directly to object being moved. Chains and signs or other than lifting accessories must be made. Personnel must see attachment to load is securely properly to prevent slipping. Crane operator must possibly see that it is done. Carry the load over the work is prohibited. Proper warning given to alert the person to the near part of the path of the moving load of loading handle equipment. Do not move the crane hoist direction when the load is swaying, turning excessively. The operator hoisting the equipment must not lift the load in a sudden jerk, lower or sudden down. Before moving the crane of the empty sling handle in both ends of the sliding sling must be hooked or blocked. The hooks or attachments must be enough and a clear obstacle. Personnel must be themselves in placing that cannot be caught between the obstruction loading handle and loading handle equipment. Be alert and unexpected swinging and shifting loadings. Do not leave the hoisting equipment unattended. Loading bucket, magnet, and other heavy equipment suspended. Taking crane derrick of the boat derrick boom must be lowered and the car grow rounded or lubricated. Inspection prepared that must be secured to prevent movement when it is not in use. Building suspended load push rather than pull the possibility. Keep hands and feet away from underload tag lines, and bulk awkward loads. By unhooking the sling, and be sure the loads of setting, taking position of avoiding struck and slinging in another part of the load. When working around electrical wires with extreme care, handling hoisting equipment because there is danger and current of traveling with it from the wires of the boom. No part of the equipment on the load permitted to come with 10 feet with a tie extension wires unless they have been de-energized. Ladders and scaffolds. Railway equipment maintenance personnel are constantly using ladders and scaffolds to repair work, and they must know how to use safely. Equipment personnel must be used. Ladders are adequately placed ladders on the box or barrel or block or other placing a box or a barrel or block or other object to increase the reach is prohibited. The use of improved ladders are prohibited. The use of improvised ladders are prohibited. Straight ladders must be placed in solid footing and secured against the slipping, or the use of skills for safely feet other than means of supporting the upper end of preventing the twisting sway. 8 ladders should be placed so horizontally distant so the base of the support against the ladder and is leaning against the 1/4 of the length of the ladder. Extending the ladders must be properly assembled and carefully raised and to ensure that sufficient overlap is maintained. The guides, hooks, and engaged and style of the ladders may be fully open to the spread set and placed on a solid level surface. Use a step ladder straight ladders are prohibited. Personnel must be the ladders and have the following in the hands: ascending, the descending, and tables. Materials must be handled and used in handle line and do not climb higher than the third rung from the top of the straight of the ladder. Second step from the 2 steps of the ladder. Ladders must not be used in the horizontal position of the scaffold member. Personnel must see that the scaffolds are properly constructed and assembled. Sufficient strength to required load and approved by operator authority before being used. Before using sectional scaffolds must be set equipped with cleats on one other side. When scaffolding is equipped with wheels, they must be locked before the climbing of the working with the scaffold. Special care may be taken in placing the hooking the suspended scaffold to ensure that it will safely support the intended loads. Hooks must be not in position where they may be disrupted and dislodged. All scaffold must be provided with handlings and toe boards. Do not move scaffolds ladder to point. The point personnel are on them. Take the necessary precaution to ensure the tools materials will not fall away. Moving the equipment, scaffolds, ladders, location within where the person's vehicles are colliding with them should be properly protected. Ropes or other means should be used to protect the persons from falling objects. Do not reach or lean out of more than 1 arm's length from the edge of the ladder scaffold. The evaluated platform. Do not use the metal ladders scaffolds. Do not use metal ladder scaffolds where there may be contact or electrical wires. Equipment. Do not use perform electrical work while standing on portable metal ladders. Personnel performing work from metal scaffolding must be necessary precautions to prevent electrical scaffold, except for scaffold for other protections provided. Safety belt, safety net, on guard line not be used on all personnel while working. Electrical line work. One classified person is charged for the duty installed making repairs adjustment for the electrical system on tools, machinery, apparatuses with possible disconnection of power sources before working with an energized circuit system equipment. Take care to avoid coming into contact with water, steel bridges, ground wires, guide wires, all circuits when working on any power circuits regardless of voltage. Do not climb power line poles, radio towers, floodlight towers, and structures entering substations, power plants. Authorization. Examine every power pole, every pole, tower, ladder, other structures, including base, before attempting to climb in. Ensure the structures are solid enough and the support weight to be placed upon and against all equipment. Structures must be examined before sitting, leaning, standing on, otherwise placing strain. Or 2 or more persons must not be climbing up or down on a pole or ladder at the same time. Succeeding a person must be waiting and proceeding is either one position, top and clear at the bottom. All use of the whole hand, ascending, descending ladders and pole structures, body belts, shoulder straps, buckets and shoulder straps, buckets and must be used and carried as small tools and material. High-end lines must be used for heavier items. Extreme care have been prevent injuries that result in materials being thrown off and dropped. Prescribed protective equipment, tools, equipment with working with electrical wires and apparatuses. The equipment must be get regularly inspected, tested, and ensure the safety and condition, whether working, handling wires, cables, or on curves, or corners, or personnel, or must not stand inside angle unless they are properly protected. Be carefully when cutting copper, bronze, or galvanized guy wire to prevent injury from flying into and replacing this defective pole with one end of the inspected possibly and secured before the climbing. Transfer any wires before removing any wire from the pole structure. Positive supports such as must be not limited to guy picking or pulling roping, and must be to assure the removal of such wires will not permit the pole of structure to fail. All wire circuits considered energized. All personnel unless will have been positive knowledge. All contrary installation tools of wires are not to be or must not be relied upon. Protection while electrical circuits are open. The power control devices shall be locked and blocked down. Protective tags. Defective devices shall be removed only in the same workman craft that applied them. Beginning to work on high voltage lines and equipment and de-energize the working man should be center of the current source that has been disconnected. To de-energize the equipment shall be grounded on both sides of the personnel who will perform the work. Before working on the high voltage capacity, the terminals should be grounded using the approved grounding leading insulated equally to the capacitor voltage rating. Before making repairs of the transformer, disconnecting the switches on both sides of the open and the transformer grounded. The transformer is not equipped with a disconnecting switch. Is the primary, secondary connection and actions the switch, and the switch shall be connection of the current service transformers. Energized primary windings shall have secondary windings circuited when not in use. Any act or raises destroy protective action of fuses, circuits, and breakers is prohibited except for when done in emergency and qualified personnel. De-energized circuits before replacing the fuses used occurred or take care of at all times to prevent water hosing streams and sources from contacting and electrical wires. Equipment that this applies to the liquids contained in the fire extinguisher except for the direction of the extinguisher specifies that it may be used with electrical fires. Personnel must not use the live conductors that above such work that can be done from below. The electrical wiring other than temporary emergency nature shall be installed according to national codes. Do not work around the electrical apparatus. Do not erect electrical. During electrical storms, use absolutely necessary. And this is the appendix.